Answer. Yes. Hello. I don't know. I'm actually wrong. I know there were 5,000.
Reach a Super Bowl, you shouldn't devote more than 14.3% of your salary cap percentage to your quarterback. That would mean the Cowboys couldn't pay Dak Prescott more than $31 million a year. Shannon, I feel like you're going to be fired up about this. Is there any validity to it?
Absolutely not. Jenny, you know, the thing is that the Cowboys could have had this done a long time ago. So let me ask you a question for this article. So when Dak in 2016 made 0.4%, and 0.4 in 2017, and 0.4 in 2018, and 1.1 last year, where was that? So he was vastly under 14%. And what did it get him? Where's the Super Bowl ring, Skip? Where's the Lombardi? Now I see one in my background over there, Skip. Where was the Super Bowl trophy? Because now Dak says, okay, I'm only supposed to make up a little over 14% of the cap. So what happens if I give you guys a discount? We don't make the Super Bowl. So let me ask you a question, Jerry. In the next contract, are you going to repay that money that I lost? Because I've given you a substantial discount over the last 4 years, and we haven't won a Super Bowl. No, but where is this article mentioned, Skip, that you know what, the quarterback should always get at least 5% of the money? No, you signed a contract. You know, he was paid according to the way he was drafted. Now he's a franchise quarterback. Now he's 27 and free. Now you want to cap the amount of money that I can make while you suppressed on the front end the amount of money I can make. Skip, this is utterly ridiculous.
Skip. Come on, Skip.
A 27-year-old franchise quarterback, Skip, is always going to get the lion's share of the money. You and I both know, Skip, no matter what you think about it. Jared Goff makes more money than Aaron Donald. Jared Goff isn't half the player of Aaron Donald. He just plays a position that is deemed more valuable than Aaron Donald. So based on that and his age and what he's been able to accomplish, he makes the lion's share of the money on the team. That's just the way it works. Now, this article also mentioned that 80% of the 2021 cap is already spoken for. How the hell is that Dak's problem? Because Jerry and Stephen Jones, Skip, I give you money, you go out there and blow it and say, well, Shadow, I'm out of money. That's not Dak's problem. You should have thought about that. You paid everybody else. You made every sure. Everyone else has gotten market value. Now it comes time for Dak. You can only make 14%. That's not Dak's fault. You should have thought about that. And this is what happens, Skip, when you get a guy. What normally happens is that you get a guy on his rookie contract and you cash in. Skip, remember that's what Seattle did. Seattle not only had Russell on the rookie contract, they had Richard Sherman, they had Bobby Wagner. They had a lot of their core guys on rookie contract. They go to win a Super Bowl. Now, this thing could have really played off had they not done that bonehead play. But getting to winning one and getting to another, Skip, it looks like, okay, that was a pretty good deal. Because you know that balloon payment's going to come due, Skip. You know a franchise quarterback, 26, 27, Pat Mahomes is going to come due. Now, the thing that the Kansas City have working in their favor, they've already won one. So this is going to be a great thing. So he's going to get his money. But, Skip, I put nothing in this. This is not Dak Prescott's fault. This is not Dak Prescott's responsibility to manage the Cowboys' cap after they allotted 80% of next year's cap to guys, and Dak still hasn't gotten paid. This is bull jive.
Yeah, bull jive is right. You're right, bull jive.
So my first question to you, Mr. Sharp, is you and everybody else keep saying, and it was the first words out of your mouth, this should have been done a long time ago. So explain to me how a year and a half ago, Jerry Jones should have caved in and said, you want $40 million a year? I'll give you $40 million a year.
Here you go, Skip. Now you're lying, Skip.
Why should he have done that a year and a half ago when they were asking for out-of-bounds, outrageous money, and they still are?
How do you know that, Skip?
But here's the thing, though, Skip, is that what you have to factor in with Dak is Dak does not have a first round. does not have a first-round salary. So in other words, he doesn't get that fifth-year option. So, Skip, in order for him to give that up, you're going to have to compensate him. You're going to have to come to him and give him a deal that he can't refuse. And even then, it might be overpriced. Skip, you might say, he's not worth that. But you have to be willing to give that up, because if you let him get to the end of that contract, Skip, this is the dilemma that you're going to run into.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay,
now,
here we go.
Back to your
here we
big
go.
picture point.
Big picture.
This is exactly what Stephen Jones keeps talking about publicly. And you keep saying, oh, they're just trying to negotiate publicly. They're going to try to back Dak into a public corner. Baloney! He's just stating facts. He is warning his customers, his fans, Cowboy Nation,
Lordy, here we go.
that if we do cave in and give Dak as much as he is asking for, the history of this screams we will not be able to win big carrying that chunk of money under our salary cap. So let's go back to this study by ESPN. So it says that
Aaron
11
Stanley,
of the
thank
60
you very much for that
quarterbacks
super chat. So because Dak was cheap for 4 years and didn't win a Super Bowl, so we're
years
supposed to make him a highest paid player now?
made
What the
more
hell sense does that
than
make? It's Dak fault. He was
14%
picked in the fourth.
of their team
Ouch.
salary cap. And yet only one of those 11, only one, even made it to a Super Bowl, and that was Matt Ryan. And, of course, he blew a Super Bowl to Tom Brady and company. So not one player on that list, 11 out of 60, over 14% of the cap, has won a Super Bowl.
Well, hello, friends. Mark Holmes here with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo, as well as Joe Bear in the house. And as always, I want to thank you guys for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, this literally does not work. Dallas fan 1997, after watching for 11 plus years, I can say Dak is a damn good and needs to be paid. If D-Law is paid, Dak should be paid. He has a bigger impact. Wow. Thank you very much, Dallas fan 1997, for putting it out there just like that. Let's get open for business here, and let's wake up the football gods here on this Memorial Day. And, wow, looks like we got a little bit of fire coming out here today. You know, I know we're all having Dak fatigue, okay? Law Nation is actually starting something new this week. It's actually going to be Dak Week, not like Shark Week, but Dak Week. And this is where we literally try and shut the haters up. Welcome to Dak Week. Throughout this week, myself and other fan pages tagged will participate in Dak Week, a full week of our quarterback proving that Dak doesn't deserve the hate, the slander he receives through stats, player comparison, analysis, and opinions. Myself and other fan pages will be posting once a day about Dak Prescott. Together, let's get rid of the unneeded Dak hate and criticism together using the hashtag Dak Week. Shout out to you, Law Nation, for that. You know, that ain't a problem for me, because Lord knows everybody keeps telling me that I am nothing but a Dak Prescott lover, that I'm not really a Dallas Cowboy fan. All you do is talk about Dak. So, you know, it ain't a problem for me. It ain't no problem for me, because I believe in him. Now, it's funny because, okay, like my man Aaron Stanley, thank you very much for that super chat and stuff. Let's deal with the argument that we have here with skip. Understand that this is the way I look at it. True, when you overpay a quarterback, when he takes up too much of your salary cap, it is true, it makes it harder to win because you don't necessarily have players around him. I got to look at the Dallas Cowboys as we are right now, and I got to tell you, we have as much, if not more, talent than most of the teams in the NFL. I mean, let's be honest here. Let's be 100% honest. I challenge you to name to me teams that have more talent than we do. Man on man. Not talking about coaching, not talking about playing the field. I'm talking about players on the team. You can't tell me that the Eagles have more playmakers than we do. You cannot tell me that. So it's not a matter of us not having players. And people will say, well, you know, because we got the franchise tag on Dak, we couldn't keep Byron Jones. I got to be honest with you. Byron Jones is not worth the money he's talking about. But see, here's the thing. They could have signed Byron Jones if they wanted to. They can do anything they want to. And we always make this thing about, oh, well, we could save some money on the quarterback. How many times has having a discounted quarterback ended up being wise? Take a look at the Colts. They decided, Peyton Manning, you know what? You're getting up there in age. We're going to let you go. We got Andrew Luck. First round draft pick quarterback, That guy's going to get us to the promised land. Yeah. He was cheaper. He had some good seasons. Couldn't stay healthy and on the field. While Peyton Manning went on to 2 more Super Bowls. So you have to wonder did they make the right move saying we're going to go younger, cheaper than a guy who was proven? We can argue that all the time. And as far as this percentage, well, technically, if you're saying that you can't be more than 14%, so basically we're telling the Vikings you got no chance in hell. We're telling the Rams you got no chance in hell. We're telling the Eagles you got no chance in hell. We're telling the Seattle Seahawks you got no chance in hell. We're telling the Green Bay Packers you got no chance in hell. We're telling the Steelers you got no chance in hell. We're going to tell Pat Mahomes, congratulations on winning that one, but we know you about to get paid, and so that means you won't have any chance in hell of winning another one. And Watson, not that you had a chance with the coach you got right now, but when you get your contract, which will be bigger than Dak, that nobody's talking about, they're already saying that you're looking for 40, and ain't nobody talking about it. Deshaun Watson, he need to take a team-friendly deal. You can't pay the quarterback for more than 14%. They'll have no chance in hell. They ain't talking about that. So as I count that, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 quarterbacks that are over 14%. So we're telling the Vikings, we're telling the Packers, we're telling the Rams, we're telling the Eagles, we're telling the Steelers, we're telling Kansas City, we're telling the Texans, and of course the Dallas Cowboys that you can just pack it in because you got no chance of winning the Super Bowl. Now understand this one. Here's another way to take a look at it. Because the Dallas Cowboys had 1, 2, 3, 4 years. 4 years where they didn't have to pay their quarterback shit. So even if you keep him on that franchise tag for this year, you got to look at the savings that you had. You can say that this is a balloon payment now. You understand what a balloon payment is, right? Do you guys know what a balloon payment is? They did a lot of this balloon payment back before the real estate market. So what they do is they get you in real cheap on the mortgage payments, okay? So you might be paying $500 a month for like first 2 years. Then all of a sudden the balloon payments happen 2 years down the road, and now all of a sudden you're paying $2,000. Okay, that's a balloon payment. So if we look at this and say Dak Prescott's contract for this year, because he's on the franchise tag, it's a balloon payment, $32 million. Well, if we look at 32 plus 4, that's 36 divided by 4. What is that? $9 million? So basically, the Dallas Cowboys have spent $9 million a year for the last 5 years, which is dirt cheap. And understand another thing here, too. Skip. When did Skip Bayless become a Dak Prescott hater? I mean, I know Stephen A. Smith was a Dallas Cowboy here, but I'm not sure that Stephen A. Smith was as bad as frickin' Skip Bayless. And what makes Skip Bayless this my Dallas Cowboys? Because he seems the furthest thing from a Dallas Cowboy to me. I mean, he's getting to the point of being like Colin Cowherd. Am I wrong on that? Because here's the thing. Here's the interesting thing. Friends, if the Dallas Cowboys, or I shouldn't say if, because it's not going to be if, is when, shout out to you, Randy, you were 100% right. He did beat Russell Wilson in a playoff game. Shout out to you because you got it right. But let's say when the Dallas Cowboys get this deal done, let me give you an example of what will happen as far as this whole 14% thing. 14%, you can't pay the quarterback more than 14% of the salary cap and think you're going to win a Super Bowl. Okay. Amari Cooper just signed a 5-year deal. 5 years. 5 freaking years, right? $100 million million, right? Wow. So 5 into 100 is 20 million a year, right? Damn. $20 million. Oh, $20 million a year for a wide receiver? Holy shit. That's a lot of cheddar. But wait, let me show you guys something. Skill. Let's change camera angles here. Let's go to the tape here. Okay, so Amari Cooper, who just signed a $100 million contract, okay? What you don't understand is you really have to look at the guarantee money, because that's all that really matters in a contract. And even though it's a $100 million contract, it's only $30 million that's guaranteed. And that's the key that most people don't understand. What I want you to understand is, take a look at what the cap number is for this year on that $100 million cap. Contract. Only $12 million. What? But 5 into 100 is 20. Huh? How'd that work out? Because your guaranteed money and your bonus money is prorated. It's prorated over the life of the contract. So basically, you're kicking a lot of that money down the road. Now, see, here's the amazing thing about this contract, because it sounds like, oh my God, you're paying Amari Cooper $100 million. No. At worst case, you're going to pay him $30 million. Look, cap number, $12 million, $22 million next year. But guess what? 0, 0, 0. You can literally, after this year, you can get away and only pay the signing bonus money that's prorated. You can walk away from his contract and you cool. Whoa! Aaron freaking Stanley, what the hell are you doing? Oh my God. Shannon makes the argument that Dak gave a discount the last 4 years and didn't win a Super Bowl, so now we should make him the highest paid. First of all, Dak didn't perform good enough to pick before the 4th round, so Dak's fault. That's not an incentive to pay him more. Yeah, that's true. I can understand if you were going by just where you were picked, though, Aaron. Aaron, I appreciate. Damn, dog. Shout out to you, because that's one hell of a super chat. Shit, woo, I feel faint. Hold on. I need a drink. After that. Oh, I'm rich, bitch. Damn. Woo. Appreciate that, dog. Okay, but here's the thing. If we were talking about Dak Prescott fumbling away games, if we were talking about Dak Prescott, who was a turnover machine like Jameis Winston, if we were talking about a team that had everything together ready to win a Super Bowl, but the only part was Dak Prescott was the downfall, then I would agree with you that you don't pay the quarterback. But I can't honestly look and say, oh, if you put Tom Brady on this team last year, we're going to the Super Bowl. I don't think that happens. And as much as we like to think that it's only the quarterback, it's a team. When you look at this, because understand this. The Dallas Cowboys per play last year averaged 6.4 yards every play. It wasn't that they couldn't move the ball. It was not that. But you got to look at a lot of different factors. The Dallas Cowboys, on average, had to go an extra 15 yards further than their competition. And if you've got to go 15 yards further on every possession, chances are you're not going to score as many points as the other team. It's just a fact. Because all you need is a tripping call at the wrong time, and you get a big play called back. You had 3 or 4 touchdowns that were called back that Randall Cobb had because of phantom calls and things like that. you can't say that was the quarterback's fault because that could have happened to any quarterback. Anybody who was out there, if the officials make a bad call, it's a bad call that hurts everybody. And it's not going to matter what your quarterback did unless it's Tom Brady. He, of course, gets all the calls. Your team had 6.4 yards per play. In comparison, Pat Mahomes in Kansas City only had 6.1. That's huge. You move the football. Floyd, damn, man, you guys are killed. Ooh, I'm feeling faint tonight. Ooh, that's another $20. Ooh, deadlines make deals. Ooh, and money make me faint too. So that's where I look at it like this, because you say don't pay that guy. Okay. I know a lot of people say, well, you're not going to lose with Andy Dalton. Yeah, Andy Dalton's just as good. You know, he been to playoffs 4 times. Yeah, he has. And lost all 4 games. His first 4 years of his career. Since that time, it ain't been that good. It ain't been that good. But back to my original premise here. Back to this. Cap number, $12 million for Amari Cooper on signing a $100 million deal. So when we think about, let me give you another one. Not Jared Goff. Let's go. Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz, same type of a deal. Carson Wentz, his cap number for this year, because basically that's the 5th-year option, $18 million. The following year it's at 34, and then 31, 36, 32. But they can basically drop him after that year. After 2021, they can actually walk away from the contract without a whole lot of pain. But the other thing you have to look at on this is, if you get the contract done, Aaron Stanley, damn, dog, did you rob the bank, man? I heard there was an orange car that flipped over and lost a whole bunch of money. Did you come into it? Dak wants a short-term deal to be able to get more money from an increase in cap. That's the sensible thing to do. He loses supporting cast, and he will suck. Well, Aaron, dog, you my dog. You my dog. You know, I wish you were here because we could sit down, we could grab some rum, we could have a few drinks, and we could have a conversation. I get your point, and you're looking at it from the perspective of you and me, where we say, you know what, I'd be happy to have $35 million a year, and all that. But here's the thing. Here's the thing with that. Right now, nobody's signing long-term deals in the NFL. What you're asking Dak Prescott to do is something that nobody else has done. Carson Wentz, 4-year extension. Jared Goff, 4-year extension. Aaron Rodgers, 4-year extension. Big Ben, 2-year extension. Russell Wilson, 4-year extension. The last 5-year extension was Matty Ice, and that was 3 years ago. So guys aren't doing long-term deals because, here, I know you're saying we're being greedy, but let's talk about the NFL, who we all know is greedy. Howard Floyd, give Dak his chicken. Thank you very much for that super chat. Ooh, you guys, damn. We might have to do something new to the studio. Woohoo! The joint is jumping up in here. Okay, so understand this. 5 years ago, 2015, Drew Brees was the highest paid quarterback in the NFL, and it was $18 million. Now, I'd be happy with $18 million right now. Don't get it twisted. I tell you what, if I was making $18 million, we'd all go to a club and get tipsy. Oh, no, we'd buy a club and we'd all go and get tipsy. You know what I'm saying? And it'd be wings on me. But 5 years ago, it was $18 million. And understand what happened in the last 5 years. We had the anthem protests, and people said, screw the NFL, I ain't never watching again. We had concussion lawsuits. We had we had the Hall of Famers talking about, we going to strike. We're not going to the Hall of Fame, right? We had actually attendance go down. But through all that, the salary cap went up $50 million in 5 years. $50 million. $50 million. Now take a look at the next 5 years. Let's think about this now. Attendance was up last year, First time in years, attendance was up. Dan the man, good evening. Thank you very much. You guys are killing me. Attendance was up, right? Because of Corona, John Jones, damn. Woo, lordy. I bet what, everybody got their birthday or something tonight? They're spending their birthday cash. I appreciate it. You got gambling now. Understand. This is where people are like, man, you know, they're going to lose money this year because they're not going to have stadium revenue, which probably may be true. But I got to tell you, have you noticed how much gambling you see right now? Like last night, they had all the gambling stuff on the next shot and everything else. You could bet on almost everything last night on the Tiger Phil Mickelson thing. Teams, the Redskins, they got it on the ballot to be able to have gambling at the stadium. That money's going to go into the salary cap. You're going to tell me, wait. You mean I can go to the Redskin game, I can get my slot on, I can gamble about how big the Cowboys are going to kick the Redskins' ass? I said, let me put $100 on it. Let me put $100 on it right now. Right? You got that revenue coming in. And understand, you just put a 17th game on the schedule. You put playoff games. One more team in each conference. All these things are going to generate more revenue. They have told, listen, this is what they told the players. Listen, Players Association, guess what? Over the next 10 years, you're getting $500 billion more in revenue. $500 billion more in revenue. Wait a minute. $500 billion more in revenue over the next 10 years. Wow. So if you break that down, what that actually works out to be, is about $28 million per year per team inflation.
Yeah, the NFL has, thank you very much, Floyd Piera. Ooh, you guys are killing me.
Yeah, the NFL said they do have plans to have fans in the stands. We all have plans. I have plans to live to be 100, but sometimes plans will change.
Jeremiah First, it's your birthday tomorrow, so here you go.
Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday tomorrow, Jeremiah. Thank you very much for the super chat. Okay, and don't ask me to sing anymore. So, what you're looking at is potentially the salary cap being next year about $230 million. Potentially. So, that's the reason why these players are looking. Oh, and by the way, in 2022, 2 years, well, a year and a half, they renegotiate the television contracts. And understand, when they do that, there's going to be more money.
What's up, Antoine? Everybody's money watching. Either you want him paid or you don't want him. You're right. There is no middle ground.
You are 100% right. Either you say, screw Dak, rescind the offer, let him walk, let him go pound sand, or you're like, pay the guy. You're right. There's no middle ground. But I look at, damn.
Howard Floyd, damn.
Damn. So, actually, Howard, you know what? This was for you, Howard. Hold up. Because I got this because we all forget. We forget about what today is about. Because a lot of people think that this is about, hey, this is my vacation time here. I'm supposed to go to the beach. This is about me and my family. We should be out there cooking out. No. What this day really is for all of those who have done the ultimate sacrifice for our country. I said this first thing this morning. I salute. I'm not a soldier, so let me not try to salute.
Ivory Caliente. I can't pronounce that, damn it. Ivory. We do need to sign Jamal Adams. We'll get to that in a minute.
I salute all you who have been in the military, all you who are not here, all of you that are going to be in the military. And I just want to play this little clip here and remind us what this day is really about.
The sight of her stopped us. Teenage sailor Don Stratton remembered of his first glimpse of the USS Arizona. She was the biggest thing any of us had ever seen, and each of us stood in awe. The battleship was indeed a floating giant, a 30,000-ton armored fortress that was 2 football fields long with guns that could fire a shell 12 miles. When the Arizona's keel was laid to begin construction, the ship was going to be the biggest of any navies in the world. But that was in March 1914, before the start of World War I. A quarter century later, as it sat anchored in Pearl Harbor on the morning of December 7, 1941, the majestic Arizona was obsolete. Yet it was about to become the most famous ship in the history of the U.S. Navy. The Arizona was not supposed to be in Hawaii that morning. It was scheduled to return to the West Coast for an overhaul in late November 1941. But on October 22nd, while out on maneuvers in bad weather, it collided with another battleship and was badly damaged. It would have to stay in Pearl Harbor through December for repairs. Shortly before 8 a.m. on December 7th, a Navy doctor named Eric Hackinson was standing on the deck of the hospital ship USS Solace, filming Sunday morning activities in the harbor. Suddenly, a speedboat raced by and a huge bomb splashed in the water right behind it. Hackinson's camera swept across the harbor and paused on the Arizona when the ship erupted in a gigantic series of explosions. A huge jet of black smoke shot into the air, and the front quarter of the ship disappeared in a shower of blasts, like fireworks going crazy. Hackinson had caught the moment of the great ship's death. On board, dozens of sailors were blown up or burned to death. Of the 1,500 on board, only 334 got off the ship alive. 900 of those killed would never be recovered. As the Arizona settled in the shallow water of Pearl Harbor, smoke billowed from the wreckage and from the burning fuel oil that had leaked out and caught fire on the surface. In the aftermath of the Japanese attack, the United States entered World War II, and much of the Arizona was eventually dismantled. But its hull was left where it sank as a hallowed memorial to all those who perished that day. And 75 years later, the big ship still bleeds a little oil now and then, which drifts up from the wreck and stains the surface of the water.
Aaron Stanley, thank you very much for that super chat.
This, my friends, is what today is about. This is saying thank you and remembering all of those who sacrificed for the rest of us. And I got to say thank you. Whew, Aaron Stanley, you are fired up tonight. You know, I appreciate all the super chats and everything else and stuff. But here's the thing I look at. We have been, I tell you what, let's go this way. We have tried over and over again to go the cheap route with quarterbacks. The Dallas Cowboys are one of the few teams that don't really draft quarterbacks up high. You know, we haven't, the last time we drafted a quarterback in the first round was Troy Aikman, I believe. And basically, we've tried doing the Drew Bledsoes, the Vinny Testaverdes, the, from Tampa Bay and Washington, Brad Johnson. And when we look at having these older veteran quarterbacks and say, you know what, those guys are good enough, you know, and this is where a lot of people are here with Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton's good enough. You know, with this talent that we have, we can plug anybody in there. That's not the way it works. That's not the way it works. You need to have somebody who's playing at a great level who doesn't turn over the football. You can look at Tampa Bay and say, Jameis Winston's 30 touchdowns, but he turned the ball over 30 times in interceptions. Those are game killers. Now, I know we're not happy because we say, Dak Prescott, we're pointing the finger at you, Dak. It's your fault. We're not in the playoffs. It's your fault. But it goes beyond just that. When you look at a team like New England, because you can't look at the Super Bowl the year before that Tom Brady played in. Tom Brady didn't win that Super Bowl. That defense of theirs won that. You can look at the season that they had this year. The fact that they made the playoffs wasn't because of Tom Brady's arm. It's because they had that great defense, and they got a genius who understands how to win. They have a special teams group that blocked 3 punts. If you don't think a blocked punt is a game changer, then you don't understand football. We had a kicker who couldn't kick a damn field goal inside the 50. Come on, man. You can't put all that on your quarterback.
Howard Floyd, appreciate the super chat, man. Thank you very much.
You can't put everything on this. And I will say this. If you put Jason Garrett with New England, do you think that New England wins 6 Super Bowls? Because I look at the talent. Take a look at the rosters that New England has when they're winning Super Bowls. How many Pro Bowl players do you see on those teams? You usually don't see more than about 4, maybe 5 at the most in any of those years. It's never been about having just 1 or 2 great players. It's about having a guy who's got a mind and understands the difference of down and distance, understands in-game analytics, to understand how to put the other team on its toes and keep them guessing. You know, every week with Bill Belichick, he comes out with something you say, what the fuck are they doing? Excuse my language. But he does. I don't remember which game it was, but I remember they came out, all the defensive linemen are standing straight up. If you're an offensive lineman and you're going, down, what are they doing? It's that moment of question in your mind, wondering, what are they doing? That is the difference between winning and losing. And we've never had that edge with this team. You've got to come up with something new. You can look at Mike Shanahan when he went to the Washington Redskins. Pistol offense. You got a young quarterback. Nobody knows what to expect. We're going to run him on the outside. We're going to get him out in space because he's not a pocket passer. And we're going to be able to let him lob it up because people are going to worry about him running. You could look at the Miami Dolphins when they came out with the Wildcat and put Ronnie Brown in there. Defenses are like, what the hell are they doing?
Little touchdown. What's up? Thank you very much. Garrett has no mind.
You look at teams that come up with something different that keep people guessing. Listen, you had 2 wide receivers that had over 1,000 yards. And you damn sure could have had another one had he not had so many penalties called back and drops. You could have had 3. Yeah, and as much as you want to say, oh, well, it's just because he's got good talent. You know what? If you got good talent, you still got to get him the damn ball. You can look and say, well, you got Odell Beckham. You have Jarvis Landry over there. And you had Nick Chubb for a running back who had more yards and a half a yard per carry more than Zeke Elliott. But yet Baker Mayfield, he had great people around him. What did he do? What did he do with those guys? Right? You can't look at him and say, well, he didn't have talent around him, that he was throwing to scrubs. You can have talent, but you still have to have somebody who can deliver the ball, somebody who's not fumbling it, somebody who's not pissing down his leg when he's got pressure. Do you think that 4,900 some yards happened by accident? Sometimes people act like, that was 2,000 yards. Well, anybody can go out there and throw for 2,000 yards. Yeah, but how many throw for almost 5,000? And I don't care all this crap of, well, it was garbage time. Get the fuck out of here with that stuff, man. Come on. If you want to do that, you could say Drew Brees, well, he doesn't deserve to have the record for the most impounded yards because he had 3 years where they were 7-9, and a lot of those yards might have been garbage time. You could say, well, Dan Marino, they had a lot of teams where, they were so far behind. Dan Marino is just throwing the ball all the time, so he has garbage time yards. So you can't count those. Come on. That's the only quarterback that anybody ever says it's garbage time. You could look at the Atlanta Falcons last year and say, well, they weren't too good last year. What were they, 7-9, 6-10? Then a lot of those games that Matt Ryan threw for, well, those garbage time yards. Come on, man. I just don't understand this whole dynamic where it's like, screw him. You guys don't remember when we went through quarterback after quarterback after quarterback after Troy Aikman till we were lucky enough to have Tony Romo. And even having Tony Romo, you could look and say, well, a lot of you will say, well, Tony Romo didn't have the defense that Dak Prescott had. Tony Romo didn't have anybody around. We'll make excuses for him. But I can't honestly look at my offensive line and still say that they are the best offensive line in football. I can say we got some really great wide receivers with the addition of CeeDee Lamb. But I can look and say that defense is not exactly lights out. Dan Marino did not win a Super Bowl. He went to one early in his career, but never went back and didn't win. John Lynch and Red Rover is 0-4 in the playoffs with 1 touchdown and 6 interceptions. Thank you, John Lynch. So what? Winston had 5,000. That doesn't mean he's great. I didn't say he was great. Danny, I didn't say it because you know why? Because he had 30 interceptions. When you give the ball to the other team 30 times, that's 30 additional opportunities. And it's not only just the opportunities. You got to understand, listen, I don't know, some of you maybe haven't played football. Let's say you're on the defense. Man, whew. Oh, man, we just stopped them. Damn. Good job, man. Let me get some Gatorade. Shit. You know that motherfucking running back there, man. That dude's a beast, man. That shit hurt when he hit me. Okay, coach. Okay, what we got, coach? Well, you know, man, they're double teaming me, coach, and they're doing like a chop block. Defense. What? Defense. Turnover. Oh shit. Where's my element? Where's? Damn, I gotta get it on the field. So you got to understand, all of a sudden, I'm not expecting to go back out on the field. We got to go on defense? Coach, what's the call? We're trying to hurry up and get on the field. The offense is like, we got the ball. They're getting out there trying to hurry up. And that's where you see big plays happen from takeaways. Because usually you're going to have better position when you get a strip sack, an interception, or a pick six than you are if you punt. In which case now the defense knows, okay, we're about to go on the field. We don't get those things. Understand, I think we got 18 takeaways. New England had like 36 or 37. That's more times that Tom Brady had the ball when the defense wasn't ready. And I don't understand how come you guys don't seem to understand that. We have not had takeaways since the 2014 season when we were second in the NFL. That defense wasn't great statistically, 19th. In total defense, but they took the football away and it gave Tony Romo more and more opportunities to score, in which case the offense did well. But when we go ahead and play against a team that can run the football against us up the middle and you don't get takeaways, it makes it harder for your defense, for your offense too. You got to understand that no team has had a great offense and shit special teams and shit defense as one. I challenge you to show me one right there where you look and say, well, the defense stinks.
Philly Notion. Jobu's head is coming off to the nation. No, he's not.
I'm going to tell you, you know what? Philly Notion, I appreciate you guys paying me to troll me, okay? I appreciate it. Feel free to come in and troll me anytime if you're paying me. I likes that a lot. But let me tell you something. I just want to forewarn you, okay? We cool, Jobu? I wouldn't play with Jobu. I made Jobu for fun. I carved his head in my workshop, made his body. His original body was a lot smaller, so we did a body transplant for him. But I got to tell you that sometimes there's been some strange things that have happened. And I go, did that really happen? The fact that I'm actually here talking to you right now, I still can't believe. Talk your shit. Okay. I like that, Ray Anthony. Thank you very much. Let me unblock that comment. Understand, I'm dyslexic. You guys know I'm a word butcher. I mess up on names all the time, okay? DJ 100 Grand. I mess up DJ 100 Grand. I'll call him JD, 50 Cent or something like that. I'm dyslexic. I don't read real well. I am shy. I know. It's hard to believe. I could not talk in public. I could not. I would get like this, and I'd mumble, what? My tongue would get literally tongue-tied, twisted. I'm serious. If people who knew me from high school, they're like, you do YouTube? Yeah, man, it's cool. I need a carb? No, I need less carbs, dude. Dude, I'm pushing 260, okay? I don't need a carb. Thank you very much. You've been listening to fat ass Philly 5. You know what? Yeah, you and a damn eagle troll. Man, you guys get on my nerves, man. You need a car. You need a car. Get it real. Get it real.
What? Look at Look, he's at this. Did the screen freeze? Is it still light? Look.
Looking for the corona.
Oh my God! Look at this!
Wow, that has to be the stupidest thing I've ever
Oh my God!
Are you gonna take a quarterback back in the second round?
Oh my God!
Are you kidding me? What did you just trade Carson then? Are you kidding me? You just took a quarterback in the second round. This team is so good.
That's kind of funny, man.
They don't need to take. They don't need anything else, right? They're so good. They don't. This has to be for some sort of trade. There has to be something to this. This don't make any sense. Eagles UK, thank you for the super chat.
Really, man.
I'm sorry. This is stupidity at its finest. There has to be something else going on.
John Lynch, I'm going to stay away from the carbs, man, because hey, listen, I'm too fat as it is now. I've had too many damn carbs. Thank you very much. And you should say, stay away from the liquor. That's another one right there, because I might have to start hitting it the way you guys have been coming after me. But seriously, back to Joe Boo. We went to New York, and they had, God, I can't think of his name, one of their offensive linemen. We were in the facilities, and we go down the hallway, and we go past the weight room. And their weight room has this glass on there and stuff, right? And it was their offensive tackle. And this was the week after they won the Super Bowl, and we were playing them the season opener. I believe that was 2013. God, I can't think of his name. I've got a picture of me in my head. But he's in the weight room lifting and everything else, and we're walking down the hallway, and he goes up to the glass. He starts pounding on the glass. Ah! You know, it was almost like a rage. They're like, damn, what the fuck is wrong with him? You know, he got hurt that week and couldn't play in that game Monday night. Victor Cruz was up there signing autographs, and we had Joe Boo about this far from Victor Cruz, and we literally photobombed him. You know, Victor Cruz didn't salsa dance anymore after that. I'm just saying. You talk about taking Joe Boo's head off, I'm going to be honest with you. That would scare the fuck out of me. I don't know what might happen to you guys. Like I said, there's many times where I've run into people where I'm like, how the hell did that happen? To have Stephen, listen, I got to find the clip. But Stephen A. Smith was high-fiving me. I had him up, Joe Boo. Hey, Stephen A. Smith. And Stephen A. Smith looks like he's punching Joe Boo in the face. He got caught in Stephen A. Smith's jacket and goes flying. It looks like Stephen A. Smith's just punching. And I'm like, did that really just happen? Yeah, it really just happened. I'm just saying, bad things might happen if Joe Boo loses his head. I don't want to be nowhere. I don't want to be around you motherfuckers, because this shit might get bad. It might get real bad. But you go ahead, keep playing that. Keep playing that. I'm just telling you. I get Randy, laugh out loud. I didn't know Carson Wentz was engaged to Nick Foles. Yeah, it's true. Foles gave him a ring. Oh, Mr. Right. Damn. I like that. That's funny. But all seriousness though, the play you got from your quarterback, if you had a special teams and a defense, was enough to win a Super Bowl. And literally, I'm not, okay, I tell you what. If we were 11-5 last year, would you say Dak Prescott was a decent quarterback? Honestly. If the team was 11-5, or let's say 10-6. Let's say 10-6. If the team was 10-6 last year, would you say, it's not too bad? 4 years, all winning seasons, not a tie, winning seasons, right? I can say 2 plays that changed the whole season. Missed field goal against the Vikings. One missed field goal. Had they made that one earlier, that last drive where we would have won had Jason Garrett kept the ball in Dak Prescott's hands. But he decided he was going to run with Zeke. But even with that, had our kicker made the field goal earlier and not given him the ball on the 38-yard line, I think it was, we would have only needed a field goal to win. We were in field goal range. Kicked the field goal, the game's over, we won. All of a sudden, you're 9-7. And I will say the blocked punt against the Patriots, that was a one-score game. That game was bad weather. One play made all the difference.
Danny, thank you very much for the super chat. Another Eagle fan in the house.
Do I think there's going to be fans in the stands? Do I honestly believe that? I don't think so. We know the NBA is planning on starting in July from Disney World, Disneyland, Disney World, whatever it is, in Orlando. They're going to be playing in Orlando, and they won't be having fans. I don't see where 4 months from now at the current projections where it will be that we have full stands. Now, that's not to say that we don't have reduced capacity. I could see them saying, you know what? We'll have 25% capacity. We'll have spacing between the fans. I think that's a possibility. But we're going to, in order to have full people in the stands, I think we're going to have some things change awful quickly. I just don't think that it's going to happen. And for me, you know what? I'd be okay. I'd be okay if it ends up being that we can't go to the games for a year. With technology where it is right now, the things I can do at my house are actually pretty freaking amazing. When I think about a $10 beer at the stadium, I don't usually eat hot dogs at the stadium and stuff because I'm usually tailgating and cooking my own chicken wings. And I think about the fans that we had when we were tailgating in Washington. We had a 65-inch TV out there. We had about 100 people that stayed out in the parking lot watching it. Lorenzo Alexander Jr., thank you.
Lorenzo Alexander Jr., thank you very much for that super chat. I appreciate that.
You know relation to Lorenzo Alexander who plays for Buffalo, are you? Jamal Adams. Okay. All right, so this was what I heard earlier today because Miss Jackie, shout out to Miss Jackie, because Miss Jackie, Miss Jackie, have you created a way to make more hours in the day? Because I just don't know how you can keep up with everything. You literally get everything, and I'm proud of you. I thought I had a lot of energy, but you must have a lot. So what the Cowboys are saying is basically we might be interested in Jamal Adams, but first we got to count our change after we finish with the Dak Prescott contract. That's their focus right now. And you don't necessarily have to be, I think, in like, you got to get the Jamal Adams deal done right now. Their asking price, I think, is going to be higher than most teams are going to want to pay. And when we look at this, there's a couple ways you can look at it because we're going to get probably 4 compensatory picks this year. This is the great thing about what the Cowboys did last year, and I can look at it and say, yeah, I actually like what they did this year too. We have guys who are on the last years of their deal. Xavier Woods, Awuzie, Lewis, Anthony Brown, Dontari Poe. We were all looking and saying, we had so many free agents. Oh, my God, the Cowboys got all these free agents. We can't pay everybody. We're going to be screwed. We won't have enough people to have a field a team. We don't have enough money. But yet, it's kind of amazing because letting go, Robert Quinn, Byron Jones, Randall Cobb, and even Jeff Heath. We're looking at a 3rd, a 4th, probably a 5th, and a 7th-round pick, or 6th-round pick. We're looking at 4 additional draft picks for next year because we let those guys go. So, Jamal Adams, they're talking about a 1st and a 3rd. Well, you're going to have 2 3rds next year probably. So you're not really losing one. You still got a 3rd-round pick. if you believe that the team is going to go deep in the playoffs, if you believe they're going to go deep in the playoffs, that first round pick is going to be late 20s. So you're not looking at as much. Now, I'm with you. I wouldn't want to pay a first and a third. I think that price is overpriced. You can want anything you want. I can go in look, I can tell the guy buying the truck, I want that truck for $10,000. He said, it's a $25,000 truck. Well, I want it for 10. Well, I don't give a rat's ass. You ain't getting it for 10. He's going to say, I want 25. And I can look and say, I ain't paying you 25. I'm going to keep my ass at home. Right? And the deal doesn't get done. But at some point, you got to look at it and say, Earl Thomas. They wanted a first for Earl Thomas, right? They didn't get a first for Earl Thomas. They played Earl Thomas. He got hurt, and he walked away, and they got nothing. And that's the risk that you take. Sometimes, as they say, bird in the hand beats two in the bush. Because we can guarantee you got this one. You ain't guaranteed that you're going to catch those two in the bush. And it may end up being one of those situations like I was talking about this morning with Trent Williams. Redskins, hey, we want to get a number one for that guy. We want a number one for Trent Williams. Try to get that with the Cleveland Browns. Cleveland was like, we'll go with the second. Nah, man, we want number one. No, dog. We want a number one. We ain't settling for less. And then they settle for a third and a fifth with San Francisco. So at some point, they put it out there before. Ain't nobody bid on that yet. Some point, you got to lower your asking price a little bit. So maybe you get a second and a third. I'm good with that. Hey, listen, we'll give you a second and a third, man. Take it or leave it. Don't want that? Okay, don't. But the second part of the equation is, of course, paying Jamal Adams, which goes back to, well, you can't pay Dak Prescott. Well, but here's the thing. If you get Dak Prescott's deal done now, you will save yourself roughly about $8 to $10 million on the cap. We currently have $5.5 million. That gets you to $15.5 million. This week, on the 1st, we'll get $7 million because of Travis Frederick leaving. All of a sudden, that gets us up to $22 million. I think the team with the most cap space right now, I think, is the Browns with like 31. Understand that. Let me say it again. Right now, the Cleveland Browns have the most amount of cap space at $31 million. When Travis Frederick gets off the book, and when they get Dak Prescott's deal done, right now you got 22. And if they go to Tyrone Crawford and say, you know what, we want a reduction, we want to redo your contract, or if he doesn't make the team, that's another $9 million. So that means you have $30 million. $30 million. You actually have almost more cap space than everybody else. You follow me? And if you really want to, you can grab $10 million just like that off of Zach Martin's deal. So if they want to do that deal, they can do that. And they still have money over to do anything else. And as they put it, well, you can't pay Dak that much. Well, but here's the thing. You've locked up your cornerstone pieces all throughout the team. You got D-Law set, you got to keep him for 2 more years, or else, it's going to hurt you when you cut him. You got Zeke taken care of. You got Amari Cooper taken care of. You got Jalen Smith taken care of. You got your offensive line taken care of. You don't have a whole lot of pieces that you got to say, man, we got to pay, buy the farm to keep this guy. You don't. You drafted young guys in Diggs for a cornerback. You got hot Clinton Dix, who's on a prove-it contract, right? If you make that move for Jamal Adams, where are you looking at saying, we got to go out and spend a whole lot of money on somebody? You don't. You have all the pieces that you need. So this whole thing that, well, they got to hold on. Stop. It's just like, stop. You've locked up everybody. Get your quarterback's deal done. Get him happy. Get him ready for camp. Get him ready for the season and feeling like, hey,
They love me. I want to go ahead and show them that I'm worth the money that they spent on me. Now that they believe in me, hey, I'm going to go out there reckless abandon. If I need to run, I'm not going to worry about if I get hurt. Get this thing done. The reason you have that space that you have is because of what he has already done for you. And you can't honestly believe that all of a sudden that, we'll bring somebody else in and they're going to get more than 30 touchdown passes and they're going to go have 2 interceptions and they're going to throw for 10,000 yards. Come on, man. Come on, man. You don't believe that. You really don't believe that, do you? You're starting to see a lot of Eagle fans on Law. Actually, tonight it's been kind of light with Eagle fans in here. Usually we are like trolled to death. I guess, I don't know if they're on lockdown or locked up or something or out drunk because of Labor Day weekend. Because usually I have to do this to shut them up. So, and here's my last point here before I get ready to get out of here. The Cowboys screwed up. Kind of. If they had gotten this deal done last year, they would have gotten Dak Prescott for a much better price. You would have got him under 30. You would have been way ahead of the game. However, here's the thing. Had you done that, you wouldn't have had as much money to sign all the people that you did. So for the Cowboys, in a way, it was like a payday loan. We'll get you next go-round. But we went through and we got everything else taken care of as far as getting Jalen Smith taken care of, getting Zeke Elliott taken care of, getting Amari Cooper and things, and getting those things done off of Dak Prescott's back. You have to get this deal done now. Because if you don't, you're going to have so much, it's going to be even harder next year. You think Pat Mahomes is going to take a team-friendly $25 million deal? Do you think Deshaun Watson, who's already said he's looking for 40, is going to go ahead and, not look for some? And then you've got these other young guns that are out there that all know that the salary cap is going to blow up. The price of doing business will go up. And this money that we're fighting about, whether it's $34, $35, or $36 million, just like I pointed out 5 years ago, Drew Brees was $18 million. 5 years from now, if I'm still alive, I will bet somebody in here that we'll be looking at $50 million a year quarterbacks. Watch. 5 years from now, you'll be looking at quarterbacks getting paid $50 million a year. Guaranteed. And what we're fighting about right now, we're going to say, damn, we were lucky we signed him for 35 because Kirk Cousins is already 2 years in, $5 million raise a year. All right, so everybody, get your shot glass ready because it is that time for me to thank all you guys for being here.
Thank you, everybody, for being here, and especially thank you for all you veterans and all of you who are no longer here. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. And I will see you guys soon.
The party's over. They say that all good things must end. Call it a night. The party's over. And tomorrow and next year starts the same old thing again.